thing.
There you go.
Always sounds so weird in my ear, bro.
It just destroys your ear canal. All right, we are now on YouTube, so Joey, start recording.
All right, I'll start recording. I'll let you know. I'll give you a countdown in 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pizzas Here podcast. I'm EA, and I'm joined by Joey and Will. We are without one of our 4 members today, Jake. He had some family stuff going on, so we love you, Jake. But today we're joined by Ian Oland, co-founder of Russian Machine Never Breaks, Washington Capitals blog and media galore website, you could say, I guess. But
yeah,
how's
sure.
it going, Ian? How's it going?
It's going good. Let's go. I told you guys before that, so on Sundays I play ball hockey with a group up in Hagerstown, and I've only missed maybe like 5 or 6 weeks of the last 4 years, but I have like a Fitbit on, and every time I play, it's like 8 miles of running. So the rest of my Sundays are like death. So I was gonna enthusiasm through this, and I don't mean through this. Like I'm going to enjoy it, but I may not be 125% top energy today.
That's all good.
Yeah, you're good.
What position?
I usually actually play center. Okay, so today it was kind of funny because we had a really talented guy, Eric, who can pretty much score from anywhere, like half court.
Yeah,
like,
definitely
he has like a 90 miles per hour clapper.
That makes sense, just like me.
It's like a 90 miles per hour clapper. So I would basically take the face-offs like Jay Beagle and win them all, and then go back to left defense and just pass it to him.
Just let him go to work.
Yeah, but I usually play center or wing, and I always thought I played defense, but I'm very weirdly good at face-offs, which is the opposite of Evgeny Kuznetsov. So.
He's doing better. He's doing his best.
Yeah.
He's doing his best.
It's a hit or miss. There's days where he'll go 50%, and then there's days where it's like get him off the ice.
There was one that like in a recent game where he like won it so cleanly that he went all the way into the defensive zone. And I was
I saw that. Yeah,
I was like, I love it. I wish I could record that and just put it on my phone and watch it when I'm sad. So.
I don't know if the one you're talking about is this one, but he had one with like a second left in one of the periods.
Yeah,
and they lined up Ovi like right behind him, like hoping that he would win a draw for once, right to him and get a shot off. But it was so perfectly cleaned, Ovi didn't even get like a hit on it. So.
Well, I know when he does something like that, it feels like Shaq hitting like a clutch free throw. You're like, yeah, So
it's surprising.
Yeah.
So let's get into the questions that we've got for you. So RMNB started in 2009. What was it like starting it, and what was the process of building your brand and your name from the ground up?
So that's a great question. So when it first started, I don't want to go this angle, but like it's the honest truth is that after I was coming out of college, I had like a tough breakup, and during that time of self-discovery, I kind of found myself, just like you guys, honestly, dedicating myself to having 1 hour a day where I was creative. I went to art school, and I felt like I had kind of lost myself, and rebuilding myself into who I wanted to be. I always wanted to create because, at the end of the day, you have to make yourself happy to make other people happy. And so it was just like that tiny like little corollary that I had in my life where I always have to do this. I always have to do this. And so that kind of started me on kind of like my creative journey where I wanted to kind of like document things and stuff like that. I had a roommate in Owings Mills a few years later. His name was Daniel Morose. And he started a silly site called Matt Wieder's Facts. And while I was living with him, I was like, well, I'm a designer. I could design the website and stuff like that. And so he let me kind of jump in on that and help him design it. I made like a fake Hall of Fame postcard. We made shirts, and the site just went nuts. I mean, the guy's nuts. Like he had this like other blog where he'd write about the team and he'd get like 10 hits a day, and the Matt Wieder's Facts thing was getting like 2,000 hits a day. And then Matt Wieder's started getting asked about it like all across the country while he was in the minors. And so every city he went to, someone wrote about it. And so that site just kept on building and building and building. And I just enjoyed that process so much, especially when it got to the majors. We were like getting interviewed and stuff like that. I'm just like, I feel like this is my calling, you know? So I approached Peter Hassett, who had been doing a kind of like a personal blog. I don't know if it was a Zanga or what, but it was amazing. It's as amazing as his writing now. And I had always kind of admired him at Frederick High. He was just really a fun person. And I kind of approached him about doing a cap site. And I was just like, it's such a great time right now because, Ted Leonsis is really great with bloggers and stuff like that. And so, we talked, we got a few people together, and we kind of just went for it. And I will say that a lot of the bloggers, a lot of the people in the media were really welcoming to us at first, and that really helped us. And, I feel like I need to do better about that even now. And that's one of the reasons why I'm happy to be here. We kind of just went from there, and every day we kind of learned and we're hard on ourselves. And, and it was just really funny. The name just worked. Like Peter one day just said it out loud to me after I gave him like 65 horrible names. I think one was like Caps. It was like Red Line to Stanley Town, Lang's Gang for Quentin Lang. It was so bad.
Just imagine if that was the name.
I know. I'll tell you, the red line is not straight. It was very long and curvy and difficult.
Yeah. So it was just magic. I remember we had like Dan Steinberg on one of our email chains, just asking him like, what do you think works like as a blog name? And he was like, yeah, that's the one. And I think we just been lucky, honestly, just the timing of it, the support we got, the readership, the hard work, especially, and the top end talent, I think, who is not me. The top end talent who is not me. I feel like I'm like the anchor who brings everyone else down. But yeah, it's been a really awesome ride. It definitely feels like my baby. Like my creative baby that I share with other people. It's awesome. It's like my full-time job now. I can't believe it. So yeah.
Never work a day in your life if you're doing what you love, right?
Absolutely.
No, it's a lot of work. I don't sleep.
At least it's work for like
it could be worse. It could be worse.
But I hear you. It's you don't really. There are times, stuff like this, like times where, like even the locker party where I saw you the other day, like that was, that kind of stuff just for me, like I'm kind of an extrovert. I'm introverted, but I'm also very extroverted. And those kind of things, like when people are like, oh, this, I read it every day, stuff like that. It just, it drives me so much to, just kind of deliver for people. So,
yeah. We're definitely not on the same level as you guys just yet, but
you will be. You will be. I really quick is that I think one of the things is that I think Twitch, I think things like streaming, podcasting, if done well, and you have the right network around you, that stuff is becoming a way where a lot of people consume stuff. And yeah, I mean, who knows? You guys might surpass us someday, and I will happily hand you the baton.
We can form a partnership.
Just join.
We could be the official podcast of RMNB.
Exactly, bro.
Hey, I need a shirt. I need a shirt. Whoever did that illustration,
I got you. That was
we'll hit you
with
with
Dave.
a guy. Yeah, Dave.
I can send
Dave on Twitter, who's like just incredible. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's insane. We love Dave.
Extra large me. I will wear it. I'll wear it.
Got you. Sweet. We got you up. So like you said, you started in 2009. So you've been following the Capitals for a majority of the Ovechkin era, like when the teams got good, because around 2009 is when they really got good. Is there like some favorite moments or interactions with players you have or remember that are like your favorites? I mean, obviously you've been around a ton of them, but have any really stood out in particular to you?
Well, I'll say one thing is that as a fan, one of the, before the site even happened, there were two moments, like even before the blog happened, that I just, with Ovechkin, that I'll just never forget. And I haven't really talked about it. Like one, I had like a streak of like 12 straight or something like that, opening night games. So I actually went to see Ovi's debut. I was up in like the Eagles Nest back in the day, like the $10 tickets. I was at UMBC, so I would take the metro down from like Greenbelt when I drive down from UMBC in Baltimore down 95. But I went to his home, his NHL debut, and that was just
That's crazy.
As soon as you see him, as soon as you saw him, you're like, the Caps are never going to be the same. Because like I've been watching them since 1994, and those were defensive teams, and those are teams that never really had high-end scoring talent. 1998 was kind of that year where they kind of started having more high-end offensive talent, and with their D, that's when they made their first Stanley Cup appearance. But when Ovechkin arrived, you're like, man, this kid at like 19 or 20, however old he was, you're like, wow, he's better than Yager. You're like, wow, that doesn't make any sense. Like, he's a rookie. That doesn't make any sense. Like, you don't expect a rookie to be that good that fast.
Yeah.
So I will always remember that, and I also remember that like Capital One Arena was like, I think it was like 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 fans, and that's kind of, I think, part of the journey for RMNB too, is just to see, you know, how popular the team is. And I'm not saying that we're a huge part of it, but we're a part of it. And I think it's been cool to see that. Another moment was the first playoff appearance when Ovi scored his first playoff goal. Like, you guys have to play the video after this.
Oh yeah,
where he stole it, where he stole the puck
ripped
from
it
a
off,
Flyers defenseman, and fading away, he ripped it past the goalie. I was in the cheap seats, and there was a guy from Ireland behind me because he had been talking to me all night, and he, like, everybody went so nuts that people started falling down rows because they were so excited about the goal, because they were losing 4-1, and they came back to win that game 5-4, or maybe it was 4-2, something like that. It was a huge comeback, and that was just like another moment where you're just like, I thought they were going to win the Stanley Cup in 2008. I really did. I really did. I thought that was honestly him, and I think it was, I don't know if that Feds was there that year, but they were so good. I don't know. Feds might have been the year after, but
no, it was the year after, because that was the Rangers series, right?
Yeah, 2008. Yeah, the 2008 year.
That was Flyers.
I just felt like there was some magic there, and so yeah. So those are two like fan moments that I will never forget ever. So with RMNB, I guess I got to start like recent. So I have a group of, I just randomly make friends with people on Twitter. I mean, I guess it's just kind of how it goes. I'm sure you guys just, you know, you're friends with Dave. Dave illustrated this amazing shirt. It's kind of weird how it happened, right? Like, you just become friends with people online. And I became friends with like the Altman family. There's a bunch of kids in that family, and their dad, Andy, is really cool. One night after, when the Caps beat the Tampa Bay Lightning in the Eastern Conference Final, the Altmans reached out to me and were like, hey, we're at Dulles. And I was like, why are you at Dulles? They're like, well, the Caps are coming back. And I was like, so like 20 years before, I had in 1998, I had asked my dad, after the Capitals won the Eastern Conference championship, if I could go down to Piney Orchard, because I knew they were having a party there, because like I think they announced it on HTS. And so my dad was like, no, it's too late. It's like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and you got school tomorrow, this and that. And I remember seeing like clips afterwards, like all the players throwing hats in the crowd and like partying on the ice. I just felt like I missed something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that night when they invited me, I was like, all right, I'll try it. What the heck? So I drove down from Frederick to Dulles at like 1:30 in the morning, and they got back at like 3:05 a.m. And it was just me, the Altmans, like Sheena from who's one of our huge readers, and like maybe like 6 or 7 other people. And it was just all the Caps came back, and they all walked back to their cars. And I remember Nastia was in the car with Ovi's trainer, Gus, who's one of their friends. And you just see Ovi walking out with the gigantic Prince of Wales trophy. And, you know, fans were like, hey, can we hold it? He's like, all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then he's like trying. So there's like, everybody's in his like SUV. And so he's like trying to he thought he could put the trophy. He was like handing it to people like it doesn't fit in the back. So like he takes the trophy and like he puts it in the trunk sideways like this. And as we we're going, I was like, you know, I drove like 2 hours down. Like, it wasn't 2 hours, but like 90 minutes down here. You know, maybe Ovi remembers the site. And I go, hey, Ovi, it's Ian from Russian Machine. Dude just turns around in a second. He goes, RMNB, like with an exclamation point. And he was like, picture. And so I actually, like, he asked to take a picture with me. So like 8 people took photos, and Sheena gave me like 5 of the ones that she took. And that was like, I hugged him after, which is maybe a little awkward. I don't know. But
I'd hug Ovi.
I told him.
I think everybody would
I'd
hug
hug
him, to be
him.
honest.
It was just weird. There was a magical time, and I remember I hugged him, and I go, "I'm really proud of you." It's like a father. It was weird.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you,
Ovi. I'm proud of you.
And I would go win the Stanley Cup, big guy.
I was like,
And-
you did this.
and
Everybody
then-
else
no, I
doesn't.
did not. No, I didn't. but it was like a magical time, and just I just felt like at times, tell me if I'm wrong, it just felt like the Caps were never going to get over the hump. And in that moment, it just that night they beat Tampa, just everything came together, and it just felt like they could do it. And so, that's definitely like one of those moments I'll like remember forever. I mean, I could go on and on, but like the Stanley Cup day, the Stanley Cup Parade, as media, they kind of they invited people if they wanted to come cover the like Stanley Cup photo on the ice. And I was like, that sounds fun. And I have to come down early from Frederick because like, hundreds of thousands of people are going to come down. So I might as well stay in DC overnight and then go and do this in the morning, see what happens. I had no idea what to expect. And I had never taken a picture with a Stanley Cup or seen it in real life. And I actually didn't even know the Stanley Cup would be at Capital One Arena for the photo, stupidly. But they had all the trophies there. And all the players skate out. They take 1 million photos. I remember I talked to some of the family members who were really awesome. And then afterwards, like a bunch of like, I think they made like an announcement, like police officers and firemen, you guys can take photos with the Stanley Cup. And so I was just standing over there taking photos, and the one of the police officers was like, "Hey, sir, can you take a photo with my phone for me? You look like a very good photographer." I was like, "Sure." So I took like 4 or 5 photos. He came back like, "These are awesome. These are so good. Why don't you go over?" And I was like, "Are you serious?" So I ambled over there, and that was just such a special moment because I felt like I was doing something wrong because like, as media, you don't participate in that stuff. And so like when he invited me over to do that, I took the photo and it was just so awesome. And then after that, we go to you go over to wherever I forget what you call it, the National Mall area where they're holding the like reception and the celebration. And I just remember being up in that media tower, just like feeling like kind of like imposter syndrome a little bit, like Brian Mitchell to my left and Rob Carlin, and I mean Alan May, he's not a big deal, but like a lot of other like Lindsay Zarniak and Doreen Gensler, like these are people I grew up on, and like just standing there, just looking out as far as you go, just see people. And I knew, I'm not trying to like make us out to be more than we are, but like it was just, I felt like I had to do with a little bit of that, like just a little bit of some of those people being there or being more passionate about the team. I just felt so proud. It's just such a great moment. And so, I mean, I could go on and on, but those are probably the two that stand out for me. Going to the teddy bear toss and like almost having my phone broken by a teddy bear going like 90 miles per hour from the crowd. I jumping in the bears after one of the players kind of dared me to do it, stuff like that. Like stuff like that. It's I feel really lucky to have some of those moments, and even if it ends tomorrow, no one can ever take those memories from me.
Definitely.
So. And if I ramble too much, tell me. I'm sorry.
No, you're all
you're
good. These are
good.
good stories, man. These are awesome.
You're spitting gold.
So yeah, I mean, I guess this question kind of follows up on some of the stuff you've been touching on. But what was really your vision for the Russian Machine Never Breaks when you started it? Did you see it getting as big as it is now, from the start, or did you like surpass your own expectations over the past, say, like decade or so, just with the outreach and the influence and the things you've been able to do as a result?
I think for me was when I first started the site, I kind of wanted to take like a backseat role to Peter and kind of just do the behind the scenes things. And that was kind of my vision at first, was like get together a group of talented people and help promote them and just present it well and have fun. And maybe the stuff that really attracted me to it was honestly the access at first. I'm not a big access guy now, but like, interviewing players and stuff like that. I remember we had someone, Oksana, who could speak Russian to Kuzi. and we interviewed him in Russian, like during his first development camp. That kind of stuff really was cool to me. You know what I mean? Like that was why I wanted to do different stuff, and I wanted to do interviews because I felt like I knew good questions to ask and the stuff that people were really interested in. And I think you can look around league wide and ask yourself, are a lot of the people that are asking questions, are they really asking things that people care about? Are they, and are players, I think the players also hold a responsibility. Are they really allowing people to connect to the game? But anyways, I would just say that my vision was just to kind of help others. And Peter was really awesome about encouraging me to write. I wasn't a writer. I never saw myself as a writer, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. Like when you're in school, when they have you reading like literature books and telling you to write paragraphs about that, it's hard because you don't care. And so sometimes people get this misconception. My wife was an English teacher before, and sometimes people get this misconception that they're bad writers because of that. And or that they don't have anything interesting to say, like they lose their voice because of that. Yeah. That was kind of like my scarring experience in English. Is like I would read an entire book and some of the context would just wash over me because it was hard enough to read a boring book. You know what I mean? And so I never envisioned myself writing. And I the first post I thought, well, that's pretty much what I'm going to do. Like I'm not going to write pretty much more than that. And so to answer your question, my vision at first was not anything more than just to have fun and support others. And I just thought Peter was a superstar, frankly. I thought he was one of the most talented writers I've ever been around. And over the years, I think being exposed to his writing and his ideas has made me a somewhat competent writer, somewhat competent.
High praise.
Like I would really emphasize that. Like I think Samantha Pell, Tom Gulitti, all the other beat writers are the best writers. And everybody else that can, people. Well,
Shout out Sam Pell.
They all do what they do because they're just so talented at that. And what I do is a lot different. And I don't know. So I think if you as the first year went by and I noticed how many people were reading, and the more Peter kind of encouraged me to collaborate, the more I noticed that I liked it and the more I felt comfortable with it. And so I'd say I started having expectations for the site, like in terms of it being like a top end site, kind of maybe around during the Winter Classic time. And this, I don't know if you guys remember this at all, but the Chelyabinsk Meteor, I felt like the Meteor was our day. Basically, I'll tell that story really quick. Is that I think it was literally Valentine's Day. We had covered a West Coast game, I think, or a really late Caps game, and we had a contributor from Russia, Fedor, and basically Fedor would help us with translations and just tell us weird stuff all the time. And one of the weird things he told us was one night before me and Peter were going to bed. Peter was going to bed, and I had another few hours, but I was just chilling. And he was like, "Hey, Ian, I think a nuke went off in Chelyabinsk," and that was when Kuzi was playing there. And at that point, I think we all, at least within our site, knew that Kuzi was a thing. And like when you hear, "Oh man, he's a nuke," that kind of raises your eyebrows a little bit, like a horrible bomb or something. Like we just thought that there was a terrorist attack, to be frank.
Oh,
and
shit.
So we started kind of covering that story and translating it in English, back before there was a Google Translate. And hilariously enough, this happened a week before we were Google News accredited. So basically Google News accredited means like if you cover news that's important, it shows up on search results page and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So anyways, so we started covering it. Like Peter was leading the coverage. I was helping Fedor find stuff and getting it to Peter. And I don't know. I don't know how much I was helping at all. Sometimes I'm just in the way, but I was finding like YouTubes and stuff like that. And we're kind of piecing it together. And about 30, 45 minutes into it, Russia was like, oh, it was a meteor. And so we were like, whoa, a meteor.
Oh, I remember
we
that.
were thinking that.
Oh,
We
yeah.
were like, what? A
I
meteor.
remember that.
And so we started covering it more and more, and there was just like more and more like personal reports, like guys would shoot YouTubes and stuff like that. Like people had taken YouTubes of the video or found their dashboard camera and uploaded it online. So we were just aggregating all of that and translating everything that was coming out. And we were Google News accredited, and we had meteor in it and all that stuff. And so when you search for Chelyabinsk meteor, we were the first thing that came up on Google.
That's awesome.
And our meager site that was getting like I think like 10, 20,000 hits a day. We had like I think it was like 5,000 or 6,000 people on the website in that moment, and it was growing and growing and growing and growing. And then other news outlets were like using our translations to build their stories and quoting us. So it just kept going and going and going. And I think we had like 1 million or so page views, or I forget how many like millions or 1 million, but it was our biggest day ever. And so we had accidentally broken the Chelyabinsk meteor news in English. And yeah, so the next day I woke up and I think our site was struggling to like stay on.
I was gonna say, yeah.
And we had media left and right reaching out to us, because I think they were like, a tiny hockey blog just first reported, one of the biggest astrological news in a century. So like the Atlantic even wrote a post about how we beat the AP to the story by like 2 hours or an hour or something like that. And so I remember Ted Leonsis invited us over for some legal seafood at Capital One Arena. And we kind of worked out like an arrangement where we would contribute to the show and stuff like that. And that was kind of like the moment where I was like, and like some of the things that Ted said to us about like, how, the site connected with people and he reads it and stuff like that. It was just one of those things where you're just like, we can do more with this.
That sounds like such a supreme flex, though. Like the owner of a team you're literally created a blog for is reading your own blog. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's like cool as shit.
He's really cool.
I'd imagine. He seems like such a nice guy.
You can
Such
always
a nice
judge.
contrast from Snyder. Sorry, I didn't mean to
You
interrupt.
can always. I want to say this is that like someone being nice to you doesn't make the man. You know what I mean? Like there is a full context of work, and for a lot of people can evaluate it and be like, well, this and this and this, and I don't like that person. To me, I think Ted tries to run his organization with love, and he's a person who allows himself to be openly excited and stuff like that. Like, he tries to help teach people and things like that, and I just admire that a lot. It almost felt like he was like a second dad when I met him. And I just admire, that vision and that heart, I think, is a huge part of why, I know Ted's not out there like dangling guys, but I think he really made the organization serious. You know what I mean? Like before, yeah. I loved Abe, but like he wouldn't spend for players and stuff like that. And this is a top end organization now.
Ted Leonsis like in skates, just like going all like Connor McDavid on people.
Yeah, I mean
that'd be amazing.
It's really, I guess, like, I don't know. Are you a Washington football fan? Or are you a Ravens
That's
fan?
a good question. I don't even know. I don't think so. Okay. I don't know. I watch them.
Me and EA are Ravens fans.
Yeah,
well, your Baltimore Ravens play the Pittsburgh
they don't
Steelers
get
today.
it. But
we're rocking all white.
No.
Today.
We
They
understand.
look
It
beautiful.
sucks if you're a fan of Dan Snyder.
Context is key here. I'm confused. I'm a football confused team fan. Like the best way to explain it is like when I grew up, at Frederick, we got Washington football team games and we got Ravens games, and they were on both channels, and we always got them. And so you're kind of a fan of both. And when Joe Gibbs was there, when I was like a 12-year-old and stuff, they were just won everything, and I loved them.
Gibbs was awesome.
And we used to go see him at like Carlisle. Like my dad was the type of dad that would like take us to like camps and get autographs and like meet the players and stuff like that. I think that has an impact on why I do RMNB too. But so I like both teams. And like I remember I went to Baltimore, my McDaniel, my dad went there. We went to go see their practices. I remember Ray Lewis was like riding on the back of a cart and fell off while he was going down to the field. And like stuff like that. I just have a lot of love for the teams, but like I don't, because of the site, I don't really focus on football that much at all anymore. So like I don't have any rooting interest anymore. But I do hope both teams do well. I watched the Monday Night Football game where Lamar threw like 4 or 5 interceptions.
We don't talk about that game.
No, you know what? Those were all fun. Most of them were fluke though. You know what I mean? Like I didn't think it was a bad game because I still thought he won the game for them. I really did.
Zero Lamar Jackson slander on the Pizzas here.
No, he's great. He's great. As long as he's vaccinated, he's great. But
well, as a Washington fan, I would probably advise you to become a Ravens fan if you were going to pick one of the two up. Yeah. But yeah, no, what you were mentioning about like the Caps being a well-run organization is I would say like football was my favorite sport when I was like 10 or 12 or even 14, because like, you know, you grew up in America, like that's kind of just what you watch. My dad, big Washington fan, so I watched that more than hockey. I did watch hockey. I did follow the Caps. I was like, oh, like I'd watch the playoff games. But you know, once I got older, started like having my own like opinions, I guess a little bit more about sports and stuff. I was like, first of all, I love the game of hockey. I think the game of hockey in and of itself is the most exciting sport to watch for me now. But you know, having Alex Ovechkin and a Caps team that's constantly, you know, top 5 in the league is a lot more exciting than a Washington team that might fluke their way into a wild card spot and lose in the first round, you know, on the best year of my entire lifetime. So, you know, like for me, I was like, oh, like this hockey thing, like I'm going to start watching this, and having a well-run organization, that's what creates fans. That's what made me from, you know, kind of more of a casual fan to like, oh, I watch every regular season game I can, and I'm so into it. So yeah, that the point you made about like them being a well-run organization, you've got Brian McClellan, who's like a fantastic general manager. Yeah. George McPhee before him, I thought was pretty good. Not although Forsberg, but
yeah, you know what? The stuff that I think. Tell me if I'm wrong. We're overly critical on Twitter sometimes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Yeah,
Look,
me too.
That's part of being a Caps
fan.
That's the first part of being a Caps fan.
Yeah, we got to be critical, man.
We can be first in the league like we were a week ago, but we're still going to be shitting on every single person in the lineup on Twitter that day. That's just how it is.
The things that I like quibble about are awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mean awesome like I'm quibbling. No, I shouldn't be quibbling at all. But the things I quibble about are like, should Connor Sheary be blocking Connor McMichael? Should should this team be this old and veteran and good? Or should they be more of a mix of veteran and good young players? You know, like stuff like that. Like those are the arguments and criticisms. And I think even the dumbest signings and the dumbest trades that Brian McClellan have done, when they have happened in the moment, they have been good. You know what I mean? Like they have made sense. The Verona one, I really want to know that context of why that would happen, but that was still good. You know what I mean? Like they didn't think they needed future assets, and they basically flipped a player that was as good as another player, and they got cap space with the panic part. So like he does things that are really well thought out, and that's all you can ask of a general manager. And he's not making an ASS of himself or anything. You know, he seems like he loves the team. He tries his best, and you know, he's more informed by advanced analytics than George was when George was here. And I love George. I love George probably more than like George was just a nice guy. You know, like Ovi living in his house. Ovi lived at his house as a rookie for a reason, you know. So I don't know. But yeah, I agree. It's a really good time. What I'm really interested in, and I shouldn't even be talking about this, is like when Ovi leaves. Like what's gonna happen? What is that vacuum?
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna hope.
Well, Ian, it was nice having you on the show. We're gonna
all right, see you guys.
Don't worry about that. Global warming will take care of us before that.
Yeah, but like I'm interested about how the media landscape's gonna be and what the team's gonna be like after that. Like it's just gonna be a hole.
New website, best Connor MC in the league. Yeah. That's what.
This isn't really a question that was on there, but it's something I actually just thought of curious. Like, what's that going to look like for your blog once he leaves? Because your blog is entirely
never retires.
a lot of people say we're going to change our name. Why would the heck would we change?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like
no. I'm saying for people who've asked us over that, like I guess they just think that you can change a domain name like a Twitter handle. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It takes money. Like I got 20 years of awesome page views on this domain that's just banging on Google. I'm just gonna change it to like
Russian machine retires.
Yeah, or like I don't know.
Russian routine returns to Russia.
I'm just trying. I don't know. Ball hockey extraordinaires. I don't know. No, for as long as we last, we're gonna keep our name. I really like RMNB. I don't even go by Russian Machine Never Breaks anymore. I think when that happens, it's gonna be really interesting because there's gonna be that same intensity of fanhood. Ovi's still probably gonna be around a little bit in some way or form, kind of like the Timo Solani deal, I think in Anaheim, where he's kind of just shows up out of nowhere, but someone else is gonna have to fill that vacuum. And I also think that there's just going to be, at first, intense interest of the team still, but a big hole to fill. So who's going to fill that hole? And I think, I don't know why, but I've just been thinking about that. It's just like, it's going to be the site that is creative, the site that still covers Ovi, even though he's not doing stuff. Like Ovi's going to have a shadow over this franchise until he dies.
Ovi went outside and cut his grass today.
Yes.
It's like, hold on, we got to talk about that.
Ovi's holding a cat 10 years after he retires. It'll still probably get the most page views on our site. I care. Yeah. I care. So, I mean, it's just, that's my favorite part. So I think we're well built for whenever that moment happens. And, I don't know. Maybe someday he works with us.
I do want to say one thing about what you said about how you said like there's going to be interest in the team after Ovi retires. I'd like to make a reference to a podcast episode a few episodes ago when I talked about this. I said when Ovechkin retires and I'm almost excited to see who's going to be the guy to step up in that role and who's going to be the person, and almost think of that like as like a challenge to these players and to want to elevate their game to that level, to be that good, to try to top what Ovechkin did, which will never happen, but it's at least going to be interesting to see like these players like accept that challenge and really go into it. And I feel like it should be like an inspiration. Like it's going to suck because Ovi's going to leave, and that's going to be like, I'm going to be like hopelessly depressed for a few years, but it'll at least be fun in the long term when we see all these players that'll come up and we'll be able to show the interest and love to everybody else that that we'd be showing to Ovi at this point.
What I think is going to happen is like, I think Tom Wilson's going to have an oversized role in the team. I think he'll be captain, and I think the team is going to okay, now sports changes all the time. I was talking about how players don't really, again, I'm not trying to be critical of anybody, okay? But when I grew up on sports, players gave somewhat good answers about most things when you asked them. All right. And so like even Ovi, when he barely knew any English, he was pretty open. You know what I mean? Like even if you didn't understand what he was saying at a deep level, you connected with him on an extremely honest level. You know what I mean? Like, like you'd be like, girls call me and stuff like that. Like all those things like that. When he first kind of entered the league, he tried his best and he was really open. And so like, the NHL at some point has to, and I don't think they will, but like, I think sports leagues in general have to like figure out, how do you have this connection with people while still also protecting yourself PR wise. And like, when you have an intermission interview, and I'm not being critical of anyone, but if you have an intermission interview with a guy and, he says, get pucks deep and, playing how coach wants me to play, like, is that really value? And
get pucks
is that really helping people become bigger fans of the team? And if they're not, what's the function of that? And I think when Ovi leaves, a lot of people love the team because of Ovi, but like, why are people going to connect to the Capitals after Ovi? And I think that's going to be a really interesting time period. And, I hope the team, reconnects with the community even more than it does now. And it'll be interesting. I think it'll be really, I actually am excited for that moment, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's kind of, if you think about it, like media wise, like from my perspective, every day is kind of the same. right now, and it's like,
It's like Ovi scored a goal. We either won or we lost.
Where's the creativity in what's happening right now? It's just like we're kind of waiting for a moment in 4 years.
I don't need creativity. I need Ovechkin goals.
I need Ovechkin goals. Yeah, I can agree with this.
We're actually looking for a new podcast member. This is Joe's last episode. But yeah, so last quick question for you, Ian. Will actually wrote this one. It's a good question. So since the creation of Russian Machine Never Breaks, according to Will, Alex Ovechkin has missed just 39 games, if his math is correct. He put that in parentheses, in his career, and only 23 of those are because of injury. So how much credit do you take for that?
All of it. No, none of it. I think that's, again, magic. And I don't like everything surrounding Ovi's durability. I think that's him. I think as someone who plays even ball hockey, when you go at a certain level hard, you can actually protect yourself when you play that way. When you don't, you can kind of open yourself up for injury and stuff. It's amazing how durable his knees have been. It's amazing how durable, it's amazing how he's just been able to absorb some of this pain that he's taken. And I'm sure he's had groin issues. I think he had a groin issue after one of the playoffs one year. I think Nastia posted that one picture of it. It was nasty. Of his thigh. It was black, all the way down to his knee. But if you think about it, I feel like when Peter and everybody, we kind of were wow, that's the name for us. And then, he's gone on this just durability tear. I don't think we have anything to do with it. But I do think that he is one of, I think that's the reason why he's so great. I don't think it's everything that is great about him comes from that durability, if you think about it.
Because you look at Crosby.
When I was watching Sports Stars, when I was watching people, my dad always told me Hank Aaron was so good and Cal Ripken is so good because they're so consistent. And so
I love it.
Yeah. But I think really it's the way he plays the game so hard. I think that protects him, and I think that's why he has so much durability. And if you're playing that hard, you have to be strong, and so it kind of just all of those things, that mentality just cycles through everything else. So
yeah,
I don't know if that makes sense, but
I'm 1.5 years into playing college lacrosse, and I have a different knee or shin injury every other week. So I don't know how he can play professional hockey at the highest level ever and, do it so well for so long without having any prominent issues, knock on wood, obviously. But it's incredible. I'm 19 and I played D2 lacrosse and I have as many issues as I do. And any other athlete, anybody. And then, someone like him has just been doing this for so long at the same exact top level for so many years. It's crazy.
I think also, and I hate it when people talk about this, but because you can't really quantify it, but I think his heart is different. I don't mean physically, but I just mean,
yeah. His heart probably is different physically.
It's made out of metal, but no, I do think there's something different about, I don't know, a soul. I don't know, but there's just something different about the man who is just so determined. Awesome. You know what I mean? The thing that just boggles my mind is that I bet he would have had. You know how everybody used to call Ovi selfish. Media in Canada and stuff like that. Selfish, coach killer, all this
he's
stuff.
Not Canadian. If he was Canadian, he'd be the greatest goal scorer of all time when he hit 500. I'm just saying.
Yes, but I think part of, I think we're seeing him be, even though he's been a playmaker this year, I think we're actually seeing him be selfish this year for the first time ever.
Yeah,
and it's kind of funny. If you look at it, he's taken every empty net shot. Every player is trying to get it to him. He's aggressively trying to, he's trying to,
which is a reward for him almost, because of how
if you think about it,
years ago.
Imagine if he was like this 10-15 years ago. He might have scored even more. I think we've actually been seeing the unselfish version for like for his whole career. And like,
It's like
now
Ovechkin's been like,
really
I've been holding back
trying-
my whole career, bro. I've been holding back my whole career. Now you're gonna see some stuff.
Yeah, now he's just going all out for the record, you know, like it's a part of his game. Like, and everyone accepts it on the team. It's like this is also, we're trying to win, but we're also trying to get you goals too. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating.
I think it's incredible that he's like we were talking like Ironman athletes. Like obviously Cal Ripken's streak is damn near one of the most impressive things in the whole like of any sporting like record ever. Because like that's like 162 games a year with like barely any breaks in between and like not missing anything. But like another thing I think about is Ovechkin's the fact that he plays such at a high physical rate. Like I remember they show the stats of like the goals and how he's like basically anybody since he started playing he's outscoring by like a whole career goals. But like the one thing that impresses me the most is if you look at the hits between him and the rest of his draft companions, he blows him out of the water in that too. Yeah. I think he triples the guy that's next to him.
I saw that. That was incredible.
I can pull this up. I know I have it.
And the fact that he's like you want to know what's hilarious? Before this season, Ovechkin was hurt. And we were like, oh my God, is he going to miss time too? The dude is having his best season ever.
That makes sense. That's the part that blows my mind. Like, again, some people just have that thing. Like,
I have
there's just some people who are great at things and they just have something about them that is just that other people just are like, he's born with it. You know what I mean? It's just like there is something about him.
He's built different.
Yeah, he's just he is. And I think that is, I don't know if he's built different physically, but he's just built different like mentally, emotionally. Like, you know, both of his parents were professional athletes, you know, and if you think about that, and his mother was not only that, was his mother was like a GM of the Olympic basketball team too. Like when you're around that impacts you. You know what I mean? And if you're around coaches, like you have to give top effort. You have to give top effort. That's the thing that matters most. And then you're also really good. I mean, I think that's kind of like the secret sauce to success is his parents. And then he lost his brother. I mean, like when I saw my mom on like when my mom was really sick when I was a senior in high school, like, and I saw her on a respirator, that changed me. You know what I mean? And Ovi lost his brother when he was really young. I think sometimes those traumatic events can be terrible, but they can also they can fuel you for who you really want to be. And I think there's just a lot of things that kind of came together for him. And he just found, hockey is who he is and it's his calling and he's amazing at it. So
yeah, you're talking to PHP zone psychology major here. So you're definitely speaking.
Oh yeah. There we go. There you go.
But I have this stat. So top goal scorers since 2005, Ovi leads it with 749, now 750. But Crosby is in second with 488. Stamkos is third with 450. Then Eric Stahl and Evgeny Malkin. Hits, Sidney Crosby in second has 897, and Stamkos has 929 in third place.
How many does Ovi have? How many
Ovi has? It's a 4-digit number. 3,160.
This dude's put up a 4-piece on Crosby and hits.
No one else on the top 5 goals has more than 929 hits, and then Ovechkin has more than 3K. So
this dude is a power forward and hasn't regressed one bit and is blowing everybody out of the water. I don't think there's any person in the league right now who will match what Ovechkin's doing in their career. Like hitting, physicality, like goal scoring.
You never know. Overall. You never know. Maybe in 30, 40 years.
People are on me like saying, oh, Matthews could. Matthews doesn't really candle to what Ovechkin can do in my opinion.
I don't think anybody.
I think he's a great player.
Record in 20 years after Ovi breaks it.
Bro, no, if the Leafs take that from us, I will lose my goddamn mind. I will lose my mind because if the Leafs take that from me, I'm going to just be like,
I don't think a center will ever. To be totally honest, like
Draisaitl's a center.
Sorta.
Sometimes. I think he's too old to like even. I know.
There's
no one like Ovi.
There's no one in the NHL that'll ever do it. He's right now.
McDavid's 24. Draisaitl's already 25. So
I think if you want to say breaking the goal record, I think if you want my name for the guy who could probably do it, considering who he played, it's Draisaitl. It has to be him because with
I
how
don't think
like
so.
amazing it,
No.
how amazing is with McDavid and how they're like basically just entering their primes, it like is incredible.
Yeah,
But
but Draisaitl didn't start off his career as like a crazy goal scorer. Like
He
he's
didn't.
only at 220 in his career, and
Mm.
that's coming from PHP's German member who's a Draisaitl fanatic. But I don't think Draisaitl's getting there.
Nobody
I think you'll have a normal curve. And,
Yeah.
and if he's also without McDavid, if they ever get separated, you wonder how talented he is without him, honestly. But
He was point
I
per
don't watch
game
him enough
without
to
him.
know.
I
just
think
saying.
we all know McDavid's pretty talented because he took on an entire defense twice and scored both times. But I'm really interested to see how Draisaitl.
I was
Draisaitl
debating on Twitter with people about
I
this.
think Draisaitl's
McDavid isn't McDavid at the level that McDavid is without Draisaitl, and Draisaitl isn't the same without McDavid. Vice versa.
They need
They're
each
both
other.
elite players in their own respect. The fact that they play together, just like they work off of each other. It's like LeBron and D Wade.
It's like Jordan and
Kobe
Pippen.
Shaq. Like
It's Jordan and Pippen.
they're obviously
basically.
both elite by
the best, but they
themselves.
need each other. The second you saw Jordan and Pippen get separated, they both their careers kind of like. I mean, Jordan. I mean, they're still the best of all time, but like then when they were with the Bulls together, they were that good. It's like they needed each other, and then it was like when they got separated, it was like, well, it's obvious they both kind of need each other but that's like what I think McDavid's like he's the catalyst, he's the guy that runs the offense, and he's the guy that just like sparks everything. And Draisaitl's the guy that can really just kind of like just put everything over the top, scoring, like passing and stuff. I'd be really interesting. I'm interested to see if they eventually find like a third wheel to that. I want to see if they could, because it's not
been doing pretty well so
it's
far.
not Zach
Nugent Hopkins has been good.
Yo, the
also
Lions
this year.
won on like a walk off. That's kind of
Let's
wild.
get we're like 50 minutes in, so let's get to cap stuff.
Yeah.
But
I have a study group at like 4:30, so
Of
if we
course you
start
do.
to get towards 3, well, 4:30 is for me.
4:30 your time is
Yeah.
5:30 us, but we
Yeah.
got you.
So, yeah,
we got you.
So
we're
it's
fine.
not
We got you.
urgent.
We're
Don't
good.
worry.
All right. So, all right.
Just wanted to mention.
Yeah. So let's go over the recent results. So on Tuesday we lost to the Panthers. On what are we laughing?
Wait. What was the reaction? Wait. What was your guys' reaction to that game? Because
I thought that
We
collapsed. it was
yeah,
the thing.
they did collapse.
The thing is, like, to be totally honest, with the current state of the team, I would not expect them to win a 60-minute game against the Florida Panthers. That said, when you go into a third period up 4-1, I expect you to win.
4-1.
I mean,
Four
I
to
will
one.
say, not going to make excuses for the team, because that third period was pretty sad. But the Panthers played amazing hockey.
Oh God,
for
that was one of the best
Yeah.
periods of hockey I've ever
That
seen.
was incredible.
Yeah,
I feel like if you're going into a third period up 4-1, I feel like we should be able to put the Hershey line in for 20 minutes and like we should still win the game.
Not against Florida.
I hear you. That was like one of those. It's kind of like how like a
Just park the
F5
bus.
hurricane forms. Like everything came together for the Hurricanes. For the Panthers at that moment. Like they had lost to the Capitals like 2 games ago. So that they're just PO'd about that. They have plenty of motivation to come back. They're at home.
Just lost their streak to the Kraken.
Yeah, they're a great team. I think they felt like they got beat up in that loss to the Capitals, not like physically, but like they lost that game. I think there was just kind of like a perfect storm where that just happens in hockey sometimes. And as you said, they're a really good team. The Capitals have been surviving with all the injuries, and I think there's some chemistry issues in the line sometimes. But I looked at that game and I was like, I can't believe this is the first time that's happened all year. Like just a complete collapse. And they played a lot of hockey the last month too, if you think about it. Since that West Coast, like even before that West Coast trip, they were playing. They had that 7-11 and stuff like that. And I think you just kind of take your foot off the gas sometimes, and they just ate it. I was actually more worried about the game after, where where they lost to Chicago. It's just they look terrible. I didn't think they looked good all game that night, and
I think the biggest thing from that game was entering that third period up 4-1. Florida has injury issues. We have injury issues, but we're up 4-1. I was like, it would take the literally most perfect period for Florida to win. And then about 30 minutes later, they won, and I was like, well, I guess it must have been pretty perfect. And then when you look back and you see they outshot us 25-2.
Here's where I don't know if I'm getting too old for Twitter, but like I was just like sometimes I like have the dumbest criticisms, like Ovi's goal song I think is horrible.
No, that's fact. That's
We'll see you later, Ian.
fact. I'll die on this hill. No, that's facts. You're spit.
Well, I gave it up. But like, if Shake, Rattle, and Roll is playing on goal 895, I'm just gonna be like, this is stupid. It's just like let the man pick a song he wants. But anyways, but so like I have dumb criticisms. Like that night, I just looked at my Twitter timeline and everyone's like, I was just like, they've been playing so good. Like, let them have one bad night. It didn't seem like they played bad. It just seemed like Florida was just funneling to the net, and they just couldn't do anything about it.
They were stuck in. They got stuck in a trap of like they basically gave Florida. Yes. They didn't give it up, but they were just like they gave Florida one bit of momentum, and then they just said we're going to everything into that. And they just were relentless. It was.
I was more amazed. That Florida did it than I was like upset that the Capitals gave it up. I don't know.
It was like when we played the Kraken, we were basically dominating the Kraken in the second half of the third period, and they got their goaltender just made every save possible. And this is no shot. This Sam Sutton made like 46 saves, and any other.
But yeah, well, I think that's part of it. They have average goaltending, and their defense is a little tiny. They're puck movers, and that was the first. Like the Capitals are doing so well, I think personally, because their defense is. Like they get it out of the zone, they get the puck out, and they're going down the ice.
Second we lost Brendan Dillon, that starts. So
they got way better. It's crazy. Like so like the heartbeat of the team is their puck moving defenseman, and that was a night where it just wasn't working with them. Mm-hmm. And then absolutely. Sammy is again. I don't know.
You can't ask him to make 27 saves in a period.
True.
You can't. True. Like that's not fair to him.
But then he's not a guy that you expect to like stand on his head and make 10 bell save after 10 save. He's just like hope he could do that. Samsonov is a lot more inconsistent about stuff like that. So yeah, it was. I was just like watching it like wow. The Twitter. I don't know. The Capitals fans, before the Capitals won a Stanley Cup, I got the negativity. Now it's just like, I don't know.
I don't care anymore. I was just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's a different type of, I can live with that. I could live with that.
It's like when everybody was upset.
Stanley Cup world, I could live with it.
It's like when everybody's upset the Nats are trading everybody. I'm like, bro, I don't care. We want a title with them.
Yeah. It's like
I don't care. Like it sucks. Like it's gonna suck, but like it's like when Ray Lewis retired. But I was like, he won the last game he ever played, and it was the Super Bowl. So I mean, it's gonna suck, but I'm glad that he at least went out on top. So I really don't care. But if there's one thing I want to say, the one thing I want to say about that game too was like the last power play they got. That power play was the dumbest thing. Do you guys remember what that power play was? What they got it for? It was basically what happened. Yeah, no, what happened was I think it was Hathaway. He was in the paint, but he was kind of just chilling out there waiting for an offensive opportunity. And then he kind of backed up a little bit into Bobrovsky, and Bobrovsky looked like he got hit by a bus and fell over. And I was like,
Bobrovsky skated into him. I would say that Bobrovsky skated into him.
That was a hardcore play. I don't want to say anything like, oh, we would have won it. No, but at least we would have gotten a point out of it because we would have had to deal with a penalty kill, which sucks.
Yeah,
because
that was another reason why I wasn't jumping off the cliff. I was like,
they kind of handed him the power play.
Perfect storm. It was just a perfect storm game.
Everything happened. It was so.
It was really funny. I found it hilarious. One thing I wanted to bring up with you guys is, and it's an honor to be on the Pizzas Here podcast. And one of the reasons why is because, I don't do a lot of behind the scenes stuff, but the one behind the scenes stuff I did was the Papa John's Ovi commercial where he said "Pizza's here" for the first time. So what an honor!
That's awesome. What an honor it is.
Cool. That was the. I want to tell you about it. It was a rainy day. It was in Arlington. They had rented out an Airbnb, and they rented out this that was I don't even remember. It was a tiny car, the tiniest car they didn't fit in, and Ovi was there wearing jeans, and he was texting Nasty the whole time and listening to Russian TV on his phone. And I was talking to him off and on, and that's when I was when I met him that day, I was scared. And let me explain why. Okay, so when you have an honest site, I feel like over our time we're pretty honest. Like sometimes it's brutal. I think most times now it's not, but like we're honest about our opinions, and other like you're not gonna go to other newspaper sites and we're like column writers every time we write, in a sense. Like we insert ourselves, we put opinions, and so like you're almost like, well, if this person read this, they might have read like 20 things that were horrible, or like that criticism or that criticism, and so you're just like, you expect the person to be like mad at you, or at least that was me. I was just like, he's gonna say something about something I wrote, and I'm just gonna have to say I'm sorry, and it's gonna be awkward. I'm just gonna get through this, and it was kind of like the airport moment where, like, when I was there, someone introduced me, and he was like super excited to meet me, and I was so confused. I was so confused. So the rest of the day, we were like there for like 3 hours, and while I was filming this commercial, we just ripped each other, like we just made fun of each other, like, and it was just so cool. I was just like, wow, he's like that's a 35-year-old dude, just like I am. I was like, I don't know. It's just like, it's very sarcastic and witty, kind of like Tom Wilson when you see him away from the ice, and but like, it's also cool to like, do that, see that commercial, and then see this see this podcast come out of it. I think that's really, really cool, and I don't know. It's just, I love that. I just love it, and I hope you guys keep doing this stuff because I think it's so cool. So,
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. This is the cool stuff.
I mean, this is kind of a closer, but I don't mean it to be. But I just wanted to make sure I said that before I forget.
Thank you. Yeah, our name finding process was similar to yours. We had like 100.
What were some of the bad ones?
We had like
Metro
one was
Center.
like whatever the street name is, like the intersection, like where Capital One is, like F Street and First or some shit like that. And then
I said
right.
I said like Metro. I said like Metro Center something. I don't remember what it was, but I was very hooked on a Metro Center name. But like they were like, we can't do that.
But like,
yeah, because then we were like, we have to do the whole Metro, and then we were like, oh, we could do whole Washington sports, and I was like, no, I don't like the Redskins, and then it was like, let's just stick to hockey, and then. Yeah, I still don't even know who came up with the name, but we heard it and we were just like, hell yeah, like look, that's it.
That's gotta be it. That's gotta be it.
I remember as soon as we heard, I don't even remember who brought it up, but we were like, yeah, GG's.
It would take, looking back, years of like messages just to find even a hint of who said it because of everything we said. But I can look and find out one day.
When none of the four of us knew each other when we first started. It had all started when I posted on Twitter. I was just going into. I tell this story like every episode when we have guests. It's just so funny. But like I was getting sent to quarantine because I had just gotten COVID, and I wasn't feeling great. But I had just gone onto Twitter or whatever that day, and I was like it wasn't like even serious. It was more like in a joking way. I was like, "Yo, who wants to start a Caps podcast with me?" And then all three of them had commented under the post, and like I was relatively new to hockey Twitter. I had only been on it for like a couple months, so like I had like 50 followers maybe, and like so they all commented on it, and then I DM'd each of the three of them, and I was like, like where are you from? Like how old are you? Just like introducing myself, and then we made a group chat with the four of us, and like it turned out like all of us are like within like a half hour of each other, and like within a couple years of each other. Yeah,
I'm literally looking in the group chat right now to see who mentioned the name. I'm like going back.
You gotta scroll all the way to the top,
dude. I'm clicking the top of Twitter trying to figure this out.
Voice chat though, that's the thing.
No, it wasn't. It was
definitely down. Someone wrote it down. I remember that for sure.
But yeah, so we made a group chat with the four of us and like just started talking a little bit, and then we hopped in a Discord call, and like I don't know if we watched a game together, or if we just like started talking, but like we just started shooting the shit about hockey and just stuff in general, and it's like within like 20 minutes of talking to each other, we just clicked, and then we made a couple episodes. We made our first episode with Noah, Caps Boy Bebop, if you know him on Twitter. And that episode's a little different than how we run things now. It was a little more vulgar, but it was fun. It was fun at the time. And like, obviously then like a couple episodes in, we start, like we get a couple guests, and it's like, okay, like we can take this more serious. And then, Joe Beninati comes into my life. Love that guy.
Okay. I hate to interrupt you, but I just figured out I figured out. So I can't go all the way back and look at the top of because you want to know what happened is Will got mad at me one day for trying to spoil. I think
because you put spoilers of a show.
Because I was spoiling Lucifer, and you blocked me, so now I can't go back and look at it because I had to be re-added to it. So
Anyways,
everybody just
yeah.
thank Will for that, because now I
Wait,
can't.
how
go
did
back
Joe
and-
B come to your life?
Yeah.
Like, how was
So
that interview?
yeah. So
Go ahead and continue. I'm sorry.
love that guy. He could have my kidney if he ever needed it. You know.
Did he give you advice with lacrosse?
No, like it first started. So somehow I had gotten him to follow me back on Twitter. I have no idea. I think he just like did one day, but because I would like comment on his posts, and I had like DM'd him about something, just like calling, because I play lacrosse and he played lacrosse at some point and announces lacrosse stuff also, and I was talking to him about like just like announcing, like, what if he had like announced one of my goals one day? Like, that would be sick.
Oh, that's so cool.
So
I
then,
bet he was honored, by the way.
Yeah.
I
So
bet.
then,
He's
like,
that type of person.
I had eventually, like, I was gonna like send him like a goal or something, and he was gonna announce it. But then, like, I don't know, everyone was busy, and then at some point, like, because we had been a few episodes into the podcast, and I basically just like tweeted out saying like, "Hey Joe B," and like tagged him, and I was like, "Us at the Pizzas Here podcast would love to have you on an episode sometime. All of us as Cavs fans love you and adore you. Like, would you ever be down?" So then he DMs me a couple days later, and he's just like, "Check your email." And I go to my email, and it's an email from Joe Beninati, and he's like, "Hell yeah, let's do this." And I'm like, that was like one of the best things ever. And then we scheduled a date to do our episode with him. And I had to show him how Discord worked, because that's how we recorded it first. He didn't know a thing about Discord.
That was awesome.
I didn't either until about a year and a half ago. So
then we were gonna do our episode the next morning, and I slept in and slept through our time.
Bro, we were.
I was telling Locker about this when I met him the other day, when I met you also, and I was telling him my alarms didn't go off, and I overslept by like an hour, and I wake up to like calls and texts from Joe B saying he's like, "You're harder to reach than Locker," and like he was a good sport about it. And so like that was like arguably like one of the worst days of my life.
Yo,
like,
we joke about it now, but it was like me, Will, and Jake were sitting in Discord, like having like a panic attack. Like, where is he?
It was one of the worst days I've ever had. I was like, I just overslept on one of my idols, and like I just ruined this. And then I texted him and apologized and stuff, and he was surprisingly like very nice about it. And he's like, "No, it's okay. I get it. Stuff happens. Let's pick another day, and we'll get it done." And that's what happened. And then, now I'd be texting Joe B every once in a while, because like that's my friend. But yeah, Joe B's the greatest. We love him.
I bet he would love to have a friend that talks lacrosse with him, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
No, that's really cool. I like, again, and I think I suck at this. And it's something I hate about myself, is like I focus maybe too much on the site and not enough on bringing other people up. And those guys are just so wonderful with their time. And Joe is, when you actually meet Joe, he is also just a different type of person, like a different type of nice. Like I remember he like helped do like he mentioned Ethan, I think, on the telecast when he was born. I was crying at the hospital when I was told. I didn't even hear it. I was at the hospital and someone told me, and I was like, "Joe V mentioned my son on TV," and I'm getting like tingly feelings just even thinking about it. But like, yeah, I mean, there are so many cool people. Like Tarek El-Bashir is probably one of the coolest people to me that I've ever met. Like that guy is just. On top of being a brainiac, I just think he's really cool. And so, like, and you see his son plays hockey, and I wouldn't be surprised if his son, goes pretty deep, and I don't know how far what level he'll end up playing, but like, I just, he's been so uber successful. He is moonlighted on so many different media, and so I think this area in general just has an incredible media sphere for the Capitals.
One of the best.
It's crazy. And you guys are now a part of it, and it's awesome. And I remember I did a podcast with. I'm not trying to promote someone else, but like empty betters, and I was like, "Damn, these kids are awesome."
Everybody eats, bro.
Like empty better kids are awesome. Like, and they're not really kids, or they're young adults, but it's just it's really cool. It's really cool to see things like this pop up, and it's really cool that Joe B did that. And I just want you to know, I'm the type of person who oversleeps stuff too. So
I'm usually not. That's what made it.
I was like 30 minutes late to hockey today. Everybody was just like, "Come on, Ian." Like, so I hear you.
Like, make sure to do them later now.
Like here for like in season, like I have 6 a.m. lift outside in the 30-degree weather every Friday.
Gosh.
Like I can't sleep in like with my schedule, but that's what made it suck so much. It's like,
yeah,
this is the one time this has to happen to me is today with Joe Beninati. But
you'll never do it again. Hey, you'll never do it again, and that's maybe the blessing in disguise of it.
The lesson.
Whereas like me at age 37 still does that stuff. So
that's fair.
So Capitals.
Sure.
Capitals.
Whatever.
So we lost on Tuesday to the Panthers after being up 4-1 going into the third.
Happens.
We're not talking about that anymore. Flush it. We lost on Thursday to the Blackhawks also.
I don't want to talk about that.
Whatever.
Don't care.
Yesterday we beat the Jackets. Ovechkin scored his 750th career goal. And I saw you wrote about this, Ian, on the blog this morning.
Oh, yeah.
So he scored on a rookie goalie, Daniil Tarasov. And after they were interviewing Ovechkin, it like popped into his head and he realized that he had also played against the goalie he just scored on's father.
It was just so funny. It came completely out of nowhere. He was like, what do you think of this goalie? He's like, I think I played his dad.
I scored his
like
dad too.
He's
like, I own your whole bloodline, kid.
When your grandson comes and plays hockey, just remember.
Okay, wait. So yeah, when he said that, I tweeted it like it went nuts. And so I was like, okay, that's cool. Can I find the game where they played once?
That'd
once.
Be funny. Yeah.
And so I looked at their careers, and everybody's tweeting about their careers too. And if you look at Elite Prospects, you can see where it lined up. But I was like, okay, so maybe he played one game against them in the KHL during the lockout, but maybe I was like, no one's gonna have. So we have Igor too. He's one of my friends who like does translations for us. And one of the things I'm terrible at and hate is like searching Russian sites for Russian things. You could have it auto translate, but like it's impossible to find things quickly. Like if you're Googling in English. Yeah. And so like last night I sat down and I was like, First I searched, I couldn't find anything in English. Then I searched YouTube. I found like 5 Dynamo Moscow games where I thought it might have happened. And I didn't see Ovi on the ice. I was like, no 32. Okay, so that doesn't work. And so I started just like, I took Russian words and Russian team names spelled out in Russian. And then I started putting like dates and stuff. And I eventually found one of the box scores on Sport Express. And I went through it. And okay, I didn't expect him to score on him. I just expected him to play. And then, of course, not only did Ovi score on him, like he scored him twice. And it was so funny. And so I was like, oh, I got something here. And so like, but I was watching like the UFC fight night, like on after the Caps game. And I was just searching for like 3 hours. And I was so frustrated. And Igor was like not helping me either. I was like, please, can you search this in Russian for me? He's like, no, like I'm tired. And I'm like, and so I was just like, no, I'm going to figure this out. And so I thought that ended up being really funny. I was surprised how many people retweeted it this morning when I got back from hockey after I published it. So that was fun. That was really funny.
Awesome.
So now let's sorry to like cut you, but
no, you're good.
So let's all go through quick and each give one player that impressed us this week from the Caps and one that did the opposite of impress you. And quickly, not this isn't at you, Ian, this is at all of us, but quickly just explain like why. Give one player you liked, one player you didn't like. So but you can start us off.
Keep going after I have to head out in like 15 or 20. Like that's totally
why
fine.
Why don't you guys go first then? Teach me.
I'll just go first. I'm just gonna say there's a few I could say, but I'm gonna pick Alexei Protas.
Damn it!
It's incredible.
This is why I go first.
I'm gonna try to keep this short, but it's incredible how like he's part of that 2019 draft class with Michael and Leeson, and they were the big high name guys. But Alexei Protas, I feel like has the best chance of like being something very interesting on this team. I mean, obviously Michael, but like Protas has like the best chance to be like a deep draft kind of guy. I'm very excited to see him play. Hopefully they keep him on the team for a little bit longer. I see Anthony Manta's out of a sling, which means his time being back on the ice is coming soon. Not soon, but like sooner rather than later. But I hope he's one of the guys they keep around after everybody gets healthy.
Okay, who's your dislike?
My dislike? Oh shit. Carl Hagelin, because I can.
My like is Carl Hagelin. I'm kidding.
I'm kidding. But seriously, I'm going to go ahead and say Cholowski. I don't know why we picked him up off waivers. He does not look like he likes playing hockey.
Kicking him in while he's down.
I mean, I'm glad we have depth like that, but Matt Irwin last night looked a lot better and a lot more sound fundamentally defensively, and we don't need a defenseman to score goals. So I think we just need defensemen to play defense, and Irwin can do that. So I like Matt Irwin better. Chalowski, enjoy Hershey. Sorry.
Jeez. Okay, that was brutal.
I'll go quick. For my I'm gonna say Hathaway. I just think Hathaway's just really been impressing me lately. I mean, so he had, let me see. So he had a goal last night, and he took 4 shots on goal, and then against the Blackhawks, he had a goal and an assist. That now third line played really well against the Blackhawks. That's one good point, I think. But all of them had points that night. But Hathaway's been playing well, I think. Obviously, points isn't the only thing, but just the impact that he brings on the ice. Like I saw this one thing. It's like stats for like hits and stuff, and like he's already at like 100 something, and it's like we're paying him like a fraction of what the Rangers are paying Ryan Reeves just to do what he does better. And it's like, yeah, you got a point, but so yeah, screw Ryan Reeves. But Hathaway's my Also, I want to point out yesterday, Ovi only had 2 shots on goal. That's like rare, and he scored one of them. So that's surprising. I didn't realize that. But this I don't even know.
There's been a lot to like and less to dislike. That is.
Yeah, and I won't add to who I like because I don't want to potentially take who you guys are gonna say, but for dislike, I mean, no one's really been like terrible. I don't think. I mean, obviously we lost 2 games this week, but I don't think there's been one exact Achilles heel. But I mean, the safe route is saying Carl Hagelin, but he played pretty well against the Blackhawks. I mean, I'm not going to say him.
Actually been.
He's been good the last week. Yeah,
if he could just score a goddamn goal,
he just can't score.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say Lars Eller. Get your shit together. He was playing a little rough, and then Travis called him out, and Travis was like, I don't know why he's on the team still 2 weeks ago, and then he played really well for a week. But I mean, if he's gonna be he's not again, it's I don't have a person that I'm really out to get right now, but Lars Eller, I want you to score some goals, so I'll say him.
Yeah, the centers are really important, and if one of them is a weak link, it's especially with all the injuries, it's noticeable. I would probably say Brett Leeson. I'll say 2. Brett Leeson and Nick Jensen are the 2 that I'm really impressed by.
Jensen's been every week for me and Will, so I
Norris
keep saying
him my friends. Norris contender. I wanted to joke anymore.
I wanted to bring up Leeson though, just because he subtly is good. That sounds weird, but he kind of sets up Who did he help to get the first NHL goal recently? He set up. It was that sick pass to Mallenstein. You don't really notice him because he plays such good defense, and that rookie line really works because of him. I didn't think he was a prospect. I thought he was not good, and he's really opened my eyes to him being a player. He's not gonna have sexy stats, but you can tell he's one of those guys where if you plug him in, he makes things happen, and he plays really, really responsibly defensively, at least with the Capitals. And then obviously Nick Jensen's just killing it. The main puck mover there, I think, he's just playing so fantastic. I would say my dislike, like you guys said, I can't really think of anybody that's been really bad. So I'm going to go with Peter Laviolette for always saying, I have to go. What is it? What's that line about the room? We got to talk about it in the room. I'm so sick of that line, dude. Just give us a few more tidbits.
I think it's incredible how good he's been as a head coach. His projection is similar to Trotz. First year, Trotz was second place in the Metro. First year, Laviolette was second place in the East, or whatever the hell that division was called. And then this year, it's he's projected to possibly be competing for the title. And Trotz won the President's Trophy the second year.
I want to say
4 years winning a cup. So I mean,
I want to say one thing about Peter Laviolette, and I don't know what their philosophy completely was last year from GM to coach, and they were good. They were really good. So this isn't a huge criticism, but everyone in the NHL has trended towards puck-moving defensemen. And last year they were like, let's get the biggest, oldest, slow guys and either re-sign them or sign them. And like you look at like Dylan was good defensively, but he just didn't really work with what they were trying to do with Laviolette's system. You know what I mean? It's like, we want the defenseman to join the rush, and Brendan Dillon's never going to do that. And like Chara too, like Chara, I thought he was excellent last year, but and they needed a guy on PK that was that good. But like, again, slows down the pace, not going to jump into plays. And then you see what happens when they kind of go away from the McClellan-Laviolette plan a little bit, where they have some youth that they're forced to play. They have some puck movers that they made room for. You can see that they're a lot different team and a lot better for it. And you can even argue that them benching Trevor Van Riemsdyk and not playing Martin Farivari last year made them worse. And
Farivari.
Who's that on? Who's that on? Is that on McClellan? Is that on Laviolette? Is that a combination of both? Because Laviolette had a huge influence on who McClellan brought in.
Also,
even Irwin this year.
Laviolette kind of technically did run Rana out of DC a little bit, so that could be considering that he wanted to trust the guys that McClellan brought in, and since the system kind of didn't work for a lot of them, it made it hard for the decisions to be made. Because you look at like you said, Farivari and TVR were barely playing last year. Now they're like legitimate stalwarts on a defense that's now miles better than it was last year, and it's mobile, it's aggressive, they're incredible.
It's part of the reason why Ovi's so good this year.
Yeah, I
Farivari and Carlson play on that first line with Ovi and Kuzi and whoever else, and it's just like it makes Ovi a playmaker because they have so many rushes. You know what I mean? Like, so, and they're so good at 5-on-5 because of the puck moving defenseman. So I part of me is just like, so like when people are like, he's a great head coach, the players seem happy, they're winning. Yes. But then you see some of that obvious stuff where he's like campaigning Chara to come, and then he has a obvious system of speed that he needs to be successful. And then a lot of the decision making is just very confusing sometimes for me. And you're just like, someone who's been in the league for 20 years, wouldn't they know what they need in their own system? And I don't know. I
thought it was kind of insane. And I like TVR, but protecting him over Jensen was kind of. I was not a fan.
We're like
contract. It was a contract that they did it for.
I get that, but at the same time, like Nick Jensen is a guy who you can plug into your top four every single game, and you're gonna get a good performance out of him 90% of the time. He's probably not gonna score a goal. He might not have any assists, but he's gonna move the puck. He's a great skater. He's gonna do everything right. You can put him with Orlov. You can put him with if you wanted to put him with Farivari, you could have done that too. Like, he's just gonna be there as your second right-hand defenseman, and you don't ever have to worry about it. And just exposing him was crazy. I thought the Kraken should have probably taken.
Yeah, they had a horrible draft.
I honestly like if I brought up the expansion draft, and like you think about it, like they could have gotten Nick Dowd, who would have been a great player. They could have gotten Nick Jensen. I mean, it was I was really surprised.
Tarasenko.
I don't even know about that.
They could have got Carey Price.
Well, Tarasenko's been awesome this year. Yeah,
that's true.
I think they're kicking themselves in the pants for not doing that, because they could have gotten.
Sorry,
that could have been big for them. Sorry, I'm going. Go on.
Speaking of Nick Dowd, for the player I like, I was actually going to mention him. He's been the people don't really think about how important that fourth line center is.
People don't realize how good Nick Dowd is, dude.
Nick Dowd is just like I've said this about Nick Dowd and Garnet Hathaway. They're just the perfect fourth liners. They are just the perfect fourth liner. I mean, you can't really think of anything else you would want out of your fourth line. I mean, you're never going to have like a guy who's as talented as some of our top six guys that low. So to have these guys, have Nick Dowd, have Garnet Hathaway, who you're not at all afraid to put against, like, if I see Sidney Crosby lining up across from Nick Dowd, I'm not scared. And it's been a thing a lot of the time. Is it a perfect matchup? Of course not. Like, obviously Crosby's the better player, but I'm not scared. I know that line is going to do their job defensively, and that's something like in the playoffs in the past. I feel like we didn't really have a great matchup with our fourth line against the first line. And I know we lost to the Bruins in 5 games, and it wasn't great. But that Dowd, Hathaway, Hagelin line, they did pretty damn well against that line, that Boston line, that Bergeron, Marchand, and Pasternak line. That's going to be better than pretty much any line in the league that doesn't have a Connor McDavid on it. So I mean, they're fantastic, and I know this is recently, and Nick Dowd's been great recently. I love that line. I love Nick Dowd and Garnet Hathaway in particular, but Dowd particularly, and since you mentioned Hathaway already, has stood out to me. You know, he skates, he shoots, he's everything you want in a fourth line center.
Yeah, I agree. So some quick news to just skim over from recent. So Oshie and Sherry were obviously back yesterday against the Jackets. You know, they obviously played well enough to win 3-1, so no complaints there. Happy to have both of them back. The other day at practice, Backstrom was skating not in a non-contact jersey for the first time in quite some time, obviously. So I'm hoping that he comes back soon, but you know, we obviously don't know. He's still on injured reserve, if I'm correct, right?
I think it's retroactive. It was retroactive to when they first put it. So at any point in time, they can take him off. He's eligible to go back.
Yeah. Just, you know, he still is though. And then, so TVR and Dowd are both on COVID protocol right now.
Yay, COVID.
We love that. But another cool thing that I saw, I was just looking through the Caps stuff on the NHL app, but the Caps Hockey Fights Cancer efforts raised more than $132,000 for cancer research. So I think that's great. I mean, everyone liked that, you know, but so that's cool. And then Tom Wilson got added to the long list of candidates for Canada's Olympic team. That's a tongue twister, but
can you imagine?
I can't even imagine what's going to happen on hockey Twitter.
Imagine the person they don't add to the roster over Tom Wilson. Now, to be fair, Tom Wilson's been playing like a top 20 Canadian forward this year.
He should.
He should be
it's
on.
an obvious add to me, because he creates room for other people, and that's what you need in the Olympics. Yeah. You know, like who's going to move him out of the way?
Is he the only guy from Team Canada that can make it from our team? Is there anybody else?
I think so. Because we got really great Russian players and really great
American Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, Orlov are all going to be going. Protas could possibly be going because isn't Protas Russian?
Belarus, if they're in the Olympics, I don't even know.
That's right.
And then United States, you have Oshie, Carlson.
Oshie's probably not going though.
Samsonov could go too. Technically, he could possibly end up going. It's a possibility.
No, not with Vasilevsky and Bobrovsky there, right? I mean, that's just
maybe.
Well, maybe a third. I think they take three.
I think they take three usually. I think they take three. And then Swedish, we have Hagelin and Backstrom.
Yeah, I don't think Eichel's going to be able to though.
Yeah,
because they said that like the earliest he could play is like February.
Well, he's back on the ice.
Yeah, he's been looking good.
Like they said that like the earliest it'd be is like around February. So
we'll see.
I wish we would.
That's pretty cool.
That'd be awesome.
We kind of need him.
But I can't even. I just can't imagine the explosion that will be hockey Twitter for multiple months if Tom Wilson is named to the Canada roster.
They'll have to admit he's good now. They'll have to say he's good.
It's crazy, but that we'd all obviously love to see that happen. So that'd be a sight to see. But
I think it will. I think it honestly will.
Yeah,
I do. That's my prediction.
That'd be so great.
And Vanacek for the Czech Republic's probably going to go too. I just remembered that. He's probably one of the best.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Maybe Mrazek, but that's it.
So let's do our Manscaped read for the episode.
Go for it, buddy.
Now.
Oh man, it's all you.
This is my favorite part of the episode. Ho ho ho, gentlemen! The holidays have come early this year as Manscaped has the gift that keeps on trimming. Santa's beard isn't so appealing when it's coming out of your trousers, and that's why Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming, have you covered this holiday season. Now available in your country, join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped to keep their trees trimmed and ornaments polished. Go to manscaped.com and use code PHP for 20% off and free shipping worldwide. Thank you, Manscaped. We love you. But back to Caps. So
does it work on cats?
Hey, I mean, the raise. If you get a lawnmower, it comes with a skin guard that you can clip on so that it's not like to be safer. So
I guess the pros over here. All right.
That is not a part of the Manscaped approved message.
Not part of the message. We don't. You should not be shaving your cats with this stuff. But if you did and it works,
we are not responsible for any injured cats.
Exactly.
But
legally protected.
I saw people talking about this on Twitter a little bit. I didn't get to read the entire conversation with everybody, but people are curious, I guess, for like Ian's opinion on our goaltender battle, and just like what's your quick opinion on either of them? Like who's your guy? Who do you like? Why?
Was
why
that guy
not?
trolling? I couldn't tell. Like,
when you have a screen of RMNB hater, you might. You might. No, it was actually kind of I don't know. I actually think it's great when people perceive something with a site and ask us questions that are less complainy and more, like actual, I want to understand this. Like we have all day for questions like that. And anyways, like I would just say that, and hopefully I think my other blog, I don't want to lump them in on this, but I think they'd probably agree with this analysis, is that I think both of them are kind of average. Neither of them have separated themselves too much. I think Ilya Samsonov has like more talent, but he's been less consistent. And I think Vitek has been more consistent, but less talented. And it kind of reflects in the numbers where I think the goals saved against replacement, like Vitek is in the negative and Ilya's like +3, +4. And so I don't know. It's a hard one. It's like neither guy has really taken the reins. Neither guy has become elite, and they need that.
Okay, I this is sacrilegious now, but I want to bring something up to you.
Oh,
sure.
I wonder.
This is something. It's not Carl Hagman trade promises. Okay, I've grown up.
No, I think I know what it is.
So we hear when Travis Tuttle, the guy who had to sign. Do you know who Travis is?
Yes.
So he was on here. He brought up a very, very interesting person to be possibly traded for. Now, like I said, both these young goaltenders we have control over. I'd much rather keep both of them.
Yeah.
But if I want to be like, let's put ourselves over that top. Let's get a goaltender that's experienced, is a veteran, a 1-year deal, a guy who could literally just take us to the cup.
I think I know where you're going with this.
There's a certain person in Chicago who needs to be freed from that hellhole. His name is Marc-Andre Fleury.
Oh, that's interesting.
And
if they can afford him, that'd be awesome.
They could absolutely afford him, because since a lot of their guys are on long-term IR, plus they can move some contracts around or just throw Hagman to them, because why not?
What is this contract? $8 million a year?
No, it's like 7 something. It's
okay.
It's a lot more full.
But you'd have to have Chicago retaining half.
Though. I think
he makes $6 million. So $3 million is something we could get off the books.
If the goaltending situation becomes any bit sour, like let's say Vanacek starts regressing a little bit and it just isn't, or let's say Samsonov comes down from this, like I hope not, but this incredible peak of his career, like. Do you see them maybe like looking this, and would you like them to maybe bring in Marc-Andre Fleury, not only for the goalie situation, but just to piss off that team up north in Pittsburgh just a little bit more, like just to twist the knife?
I think it's got to be the right move now and long term, and it's a hard one to juggle because. It was concerning, right? When Fucali came up and had the shutout. That was awesome. Whoa, but it was also like, oh, man, he just came up and threw a shutout. That doesn't, it was like, it felt good, but then it also didn't feel good.
Like, this guy can put the shutout.
I don't know. I think, Marc-Andre Fleury is a crazy, I thought you were going to say Braden Holtby.
I think,
but they're getting rid of Dobby. So
that would be like basically taking 2 steps back in the goalie situation, getting hold.
I don't know.
I think he's good. I think
it's up for debate. I don't know.
Really good, but I just think he has an extra year, and getting Marc-Andre Fleury on that last year, the deal might cost us a lot less, considering how at
the trade deadline that could be interesting. You're right. If they retained half, they would probably have to throw a first and like a lot at it, but that'd be interesting.
Fleury wants out of there. Like
I think, because Fleury almost retired. He said, "I don't want to be here."
Yeah.
He literally was like, "I'd rather retire than play here."
That's a tough one to read into, but that's an interesting idea. I like it. But
I mean, if you've got Moff, you've got your goal. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. It's just I think it's just unsettled. You look at the stats. Think you're right. It's just unsettled. There is too much inconsistency.
I love
Vanacek's. I love Vanacek. Like he gives, like Laviolette is kind when he says they always give us a chance to win, which is
Yeah,
true.
absolutely.
But that also means they're kind of what he's not saying is they're kind of average most nights. And like, I want to bring up the poop game because I think that's important for context to Ilya. So, Ilya had the accident. He hurt himself.
Yeah.
He missed the playoffs.
The Lamar Jackson game.
Then he had COVID twice the year before. Like, there's immaturity issues there. So, like, when the poop game happened against Florida, the first, like when they played Florida, when he like removed himself before the game, like when it was starting to go to the bathroom, which is what we all assume happened. If that happened with Braden Holtby, you just like, all right, whatever. But with Ilya, you want to call it the poop game because it's just like, it was so bizarre. Like, the whole thing was so bizarre. And like, when you have other things with that context, it's just like Ilya sometimes just, it's just, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like, he definitely has the talent to be a top goaltender in most ways. Like, he can't handle the puck. I think he's so acrobatic that he has a penchant for getting hurt. So he's going to have durability issues. But I think he's finding a more easier way to play in goal. But yeah, it's just a weird goaltending. I think some people might assume that we have favorites because we write like social posts, sometimes where like Ilya is more around the Russians, so I'll write about Ilya more. So that means I like Ilya more or something like that. Like, I don't know. Like, Vitek's, no offense to Vitek, he's kind of boring without Verana. Like, there's just nothing about Vitek.
Man, you're about to
he just takes photos
with that.
But no, he's cool. I like him. He's a really nice guy. But like writing wise, there's like, he's just not. There's not much to write about.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd rather have a boring goalie than a goalie that shows up late to team breakfasts, though.
But it's like team breakfast, whatever that was. So I don't know. I don't have any favorites, honestly. To be honest, I'm kind of flummoxed by the situation. I'm not really impressed by either one. Samsonov has gotten a lot of time, a lot of opportunity to prove himself, and he hasn't. Beyond that he hasn't just seemed the same since that ATV accident. So
I think this current stretch for him has been the best he's looked since.
Yeah.
And I think it's promising to see him get back to that. I think the biggest thing is, like you said, it's mentally the team with Vanacek playing as well as he did last year. It put that block. I think it mentally messed with him a little bit. I think it got in his head because he was basically being, ushered in as this next big goaltender. The year before Holtby left, when he was here, he was the backup, and Samsonov played incredibly that year. His first year, he was insane. And I was like, if you put a really good defense in front of him, he's going to be your guy. But in my opinion, I think this year he's finally got that confidence back and that mojo. Like, not only is it like now he's realized, I have a guy behind me that's really good, but it's also like, I'm still good. I'm still the goaltender I can be. I just need to go out there and focus on it. And I think that's something that's good to see, because I think last year was just the craziest fucking season of all time for hockey. I think it was just nuts. Yeah. There was all kinds of shit happening. The Capitals basically lost their entire team to COVID at the beginning of the year and like started just rattling off wins against everybody. It's just awesome.
Okay, so Will has to go. So let's get predictions out of the way quick. I want Will's. So we play the Ducks tomorrow. Then we don't play again until Friday versus the Penguins. And then Saturday we play America's team, the Buffalo Sabres. So let me get your 3 predictions, Will, and then you can go.
Anaheim is really good. I don't know how or why, but they are. I actually think we are going to lose this game. The Ducks seem to have our numbers sometimes. I actually don't know if the numbers back that up at all, but it feels like those games
they lead
the
series 1-0 right now. They won.
Well, yeah,
that was the 20
game.
But they're good. They're good. The Penguins are. First of all, is Crosby even the best player on the Penguins anymore? Jake Gensel looks fantastic. I'm just saying, there are no questions about that for Ovechkin. It's just the all-time totem pole is getting closer and closer.
Just saying.
We could go back to season 1 and find a quote from Will where he said that that Crosby steps up more in the playoffs than Ovi does as a whole.
So hold on.
I think historically that's accurate.
historically you're wrong because historically Crosby's ass now.
I mean, he was injured. I mean, you got to give him
And
somebody a pass.
I think we beat the Penguins. We're a better team than the Penguins, and against the Sabres, it's just about if you can get Ovechkin a couple goals, because that team has no chance against.
Is the Penguins
against a
game
team
at
like
home?
the
The
Caps.
Penguins game's at home, right?
Penguins game is at home,
That's two
and
straight
then
plays at home.
Buffalo is
That's
away.
hype.
Pretty cool.
So,
Yeah.
Ian, what do you have for the 3 games?
I think
Also,
they'll lose
Will,
2
you
of
have to
3.
go. We love you.
I think they'll lose 2 of 3. I don't know.
We don't love you
I
anymore.
think they're kind of in their mid-season slumperoo. And I don't know. I don't know who they'll lose to, but I think they're kind of just gonna. I'm also worried that they're gonna have more COVID issues. So hopefully not. But
Hopefully,
I mean, the
not.
team is fully vaccinated, right? So the
yeah,
focus-
but it doesn't. Yeah, but who knows? But the NHL says, and the Capitals say they were fully vaccinated, but not having a booster, that might. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I just think right now it's a weird time for them, and Nick Dowd probably has an oversized role in the team that might affect them more than it seems. So
Yeah.
That's true. I want him back very quickly.
All right, am
Yeah.
I gonna go? All right.
Yeah, you can go.
We smoked the Ducks. We smoked the Penguins. We smoked the Sabres. Have a nice night, everybody.
there you go. There you go.
Yeah. Ducks. I mean, we just came off of a win against Columbus. The Ducks beat us in OT last time.
On the road.
Will spot on. Like, I don't know why or how, but the Ducks are just really good this year.
Yeah.
Compared to how they've been in years past. Like, obviously they're not like
Youth.
top of the league, but compared to like past years Ducks teams, they
Troy
have
Terry.
improved significantly. Troy Terry has broken out into being a star. USA. He's going to be great in the Olympics. Obviously he's not Jack Eichel yet, but he could take Jack Eichel's role for the Olympics if he can't play. But I'm going to say that we beat the Ducks in overtime and get our first overtime win of the year.
No, we're not beating that team in overtime.
Yeah, you
Trevor
wanna
Zegras
bet?
will go crazy on us.
No, yeah, Trevor Zegras is also going to be a huge star one day. His stick handling skills are crazy. He I see glimpses of Patrick Kane in him sometimes, like the fancy shit that he does every once in a while. But Ducks is definitely going to be a close game, but I'm usually not very optimistic in predictions, and sometimes I get surprised. So I'll try to be optimistic this week, and I'll say we beat the Ducks. It's not going to be more than it's not going to be by more than 1 goal. I don't know why that was hard to say, but we smoked the Penguins. Fuck them. I don't know why. I could just see us losing to the Sabres, but I don't think we will. So I'm going to say
Yeah, I think
3-0
they
on
will
the
too.
week. I don't know why.
Remember last year?
It just sounds too good to be true for the
Craig
Caps to
Anderson
go
with the
3-0.
3-0 shootout or shutout or something crazy.
We could play the Coyotes 3 games in 1 weekend. We're still gonna lose 1 game because we're the
We're
Caps.
just gonna lose
but-
one of them because fuck it.
What?
No, they're
What?
not.
What?
No, they
We're
would
going into the
not.
holidays. We're going into the holidays
Happy holidays
with our Manscaped products. It's the best time of the year. I'm gonna be optimistic. So 3-0 on the week.
You
Yeah.
sell out.
Yeah. What do you mean sell out?
Use code PHP.
Use that
Yeah, use
code.
code
ladies
PHP,
and
20%
gentlemen.
Y'all don't gotta
off.
buy the whole.
I do-
razor,
I
there's
do
some
have-
other things you can buy.
You guys
One
can
last-
buy a ball deodorant for like $10.
You can buy a
and
shirt.
Really use our code.
I have one more thing to mention. This is very quick. I just saw something on Twitter. There is the Jack Adams odds. The Jack Adams. And would you
Ooh.
guys like to know who's the top 3? Who would like to guess the top 3?
What's the ranking?
Not
It's the-
Peter Laviolette.
It's
I
not
know
Peter
Laviolette's
He
Laviolette.
wasn't
not
like
there.
I saw Will commented about that on Twitter for Coach of the Year. Like Laviolette's not even in the top 5 voting. And it's like
It's Suter in Calgary, Brindamore in Carolina.
Why the hell is
Calgary's-
Brindamore there?
Calgary's not a bad pick.
And
Calgary's
Why
not
is
a bad
Brindamore
pick.
on
I
that
think
list?
Calgary's a great pick. I don't know
Yeah.
I
about
agree.
Carolina. I'm on the fence. I think Toronto's okay. I think my
Gallant
top
should
3
be on there.
my top 3 would be Suter, probably Gallant, and then either Laviolette or Sullivan in Pittsburgh. Current.
It's sad.
Coach
It's
of the
sad that
year?
Andrew Brunette won't get a lot of credit in Florida. but
That's
I think
what
he's
the
a great
shitty thing
coach
is.
too.
I think that sucks because I think he should get the credit, and I think they
Yeah.
should. I think he should, but I think
he's a
it's
great
tough
coach
because-
too. Yeah.
Absolutely, he's incredible. I mean, he orchestrated that comeback against us. Like Jesus, man, I love him.
All in favor of making the episode title "Pizzas Here Never Breaks." Raise your hand.
Oh
Raise
yeah.
your damn hand, Will.
Getting it up, you know, I had it
Raise
on
your
my
damn hand,
mouth.
Will.
Peer pressure.
No,
Do you,
I had it on
Ian-
my mouse. I was there.
Ian, do you have any questions for us that we can answer? Obviously, you're the interviewee, but you know, if you have any questions for us, we'd obviously be happy to answer them.
Absolutely.
I need a shirt. That's my first. I need it. I need it. I just need it. That's number one. No, I'd say, let's see. What do you think sites like mine don't do enough or don't get right? You can say whatever you want. I don't care.
I'll be honest. I mean, I'm not going to like slander you. Obviously, that's why I asked you to be on the show.
You can slander me.
I think if I were to,
your website sucks. The caps flow.
It's terrible.
No,
Name's bad. It should have been.
I think like I don't think like you know sites like you like not even like again not like at your.
No, you're not going to insult me. You're not going to insult me. It's
not
cool.
not at RMNB specifically.
It's a safe space.
Just like all blogs and like you know. Media outlets like yours just in general, like I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with it earlier, and like that's something you're trying to improve on is like bringing other people up and like interacting with you know just the general population more. I think like you said, you know, in podcasting or just in like the hockey media world, like the networking is so cool. It's like you know everyone's so nice, and like someone had told
but there's
us,
also a certain competition to everything.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that I've realized like really quickly, just like in the podcasting stuff, you know, when I'm trying to get guests for the show or, you know, just help us grow and stuff, like people from other podcasts are always like significantly very nice and like helpful. Like we had one of our friends from Caps Chirp on a couple times. We've had people from Chirp and DMV on, and like, you know, they're always quick to give advice. You've been quick to give advice. Everyone's always helpful. And like, that's something that I've always appreciated so far. And like, you know, like I said, I think you hit the nail on the head with it. Like, just like bringing other people up and like being someone that people can reach out to, you know, like it was funny. Like when I was talking to you in Locker, and I was like, well, first, if you want to be on the show, I need a follow back on Twitter. And then Locker was like, ah, damn, you big boy, or like big league. I was like,
that hurt. No, I know. This is the type of stuff that's it's true. And yeah, no, I'm listening. I'm like Fraser Crane and
the way that I have a tip. The way that you could start with that is writing an article about us, you know, posting about us tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. No, I think
if you actually write an article about us, that'd be pretty sick.
If you have a post for the article, DM me any questions you have.
Okay.
I like writing about hockey stuff, so just let me know. But
would you also say that a lot of blogs or media sites in general, just from the multimedia angle, I don't know if that's the right way to call it, but like the streaming angle, like are kind of like there's all like a certain niche that everyone fills, and I don't know, like one thing that you know, like I think stuff like what you're saying, like having more merch, getting onto Twitch more and actually developing that, and things like this, like I really enjoy this. So
yeah, speaking of merch, everybody go check out our merch website. We just opened it. It's really sick.
Yes. Yes, do it.
I had to.
Because I'm gonna get a shirt.
Merch. I can send you the merch link, and if you want to, in that article,
I don't want you to get it for me. No, do not get it for me. Do not. No,
shout out once again to Dave for the awesome logo. You're
4 broke college students.
4 broke college students.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
You know, you guys. I was trying to give you guys free pizza, like.
Oh man,
I was trying to orchestrate something. It just didn't come together. It just didn't.
Good, man. It's all good.
But when we're all home or something, maybe over break, we can have you on again. Like,
we'll go to like the cafeteria and we'll just eat pizza. That'd be awesome.
We'll have you on again at some point.
If I were to say,
you guys are family now, so that sounds great. I actually have some like okay, so I tell me if I'm wrong. I think I accidentally caused a little bit of an S storm. And I didn't think I would a few weeks ago so Noah, I don't know Noah. we know what I'm going to talk about.
I know exactly what this is about.
You know what I'm going to talk about.
Nope.
And I might try to thaw the ice here. So Noah went on Twitter and what? Who did he say? Like, who
he said that Vitek had shoulder surgery.
Yeah,
and he got.
And it was on NHL Network, and I was, you know, okay. So we're a media site, and I don't want to use this as like an excuse, because I think Noah sometimes might, from what I've seen retweeted, he's like the avant-garde of Caps tweeters, and so like there was also a context for me a little bit, but like when you when you put out fake news, I get that it's a funny prank, okay, like, but I'm a news site, and so if I F that up, so I blocked him, and so I'm asking you guys, what should I do?
Unblock him.
Are we making news?
Free Noah.
I would suggest
are we gonna hashtag free Noah after this?
Hashtag free Noah, unblock him, and then whenever you're going to get news, check for the verified logo.
We do understand full-heartedly what you guys do.
All right, I'll unblock him.
Let's go.
But I think that, like we said, it was just like some people just were like, "Oh, it was just." I mean, like you're
squash
a news
the beef.
Site. You're a legitimate news site.
Okay. When I did the block, all right. So like, I'm just a normal guy like you guys. All right, like I'm just trying to get by every day with my job, and I'm playing with my kid, and I play video games, and I read a lot. Okay, so like I'm just a normal dude. So like when I blocked him, I was thinking in terms of like, this is not a big deal at all. And this is the best way to handle this, is that we don't want to get burned in the future on something silly like this. And this person kind of may not be reliable on some tweets. So I thought that, and then but then like, oh my God, a certain, like, it was like RIP RMNB night. After we did that, like he found out, and then everybody got mad, and I was like, I didn't even know how to. Okay, so like I didn't even know about it until some other people told me what happened, and I was just like, oh my God, I created an S-storm by just doing that, and I felt so bad for. I was like, why are people fighting over this? It was. So I'll unblock them. Noah, you're free.
Let's go. Let's go.
There you go. You guys did it.
Yeah,
all right?
it's it was
yeah, but you also have to make sure he behaves. You also have to make sure he behaves.
In the back of my head
I can't guarantee that.
You see his tweets. We can't stop.
No promises about that.
But like in the back of my head, I was like, should I say like something? Should I just be like, I got one piece of advice. I was gonna be like hashtag free Noah and leave the call. And just like, but I'm glad like it's able to be, because like I remember when it happened. It was mostly the thing that shocked me about that was just like when he got on NHL Network. That was the funniest thing to me, because I was like, damn,
and
like
again,
how?
That's, I mean, if you're into the pranks, I'm not necessarily into pranks, but like that's a successful prank. So kudos. Okay. Kudos. I mean, that's something you can hang your hat on. But
group therapy sessions at Pizzas Here podcast. We're squashing beef today.
Absolutely. Yeah, look at us.
Yeah. And I think, one thing I want to tell you guys too is just like, from my perspective, it was just like when the RMNB hater tweeted us, like, y'all love Sammy and hate everybody else. And like, people can't, like, I don't know about other people, but like, I love constructive criticism, because I think I kind of suck and I want to do better. And if people are perceiving something or seeing something that, I want to help them know what our truth is. You know what I mean? And so sometimes I wish Twitter was like less combative, which is unrealistic, but I wish it was more like that, at least in the RCAPS Twitter world. Like, I wish people would tell me, like, I want more of this. I want less of this. I think you could do this better. Like, I wouldn't insult me. That would actually really help. And so I think that's one thing that, is an interesting perspective, is that, if a lot of people read the site and have passions about it, well, tell us how we can do it better. And maybe I should put that in a post and just ask people, you know what I mean? And they can go wild in the comments and I'll read it. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So I'll end us off with our inspirational quote of the day.
I'll unblock him right now. Wait, right now.
We're peaking on 2 hours, but
I DM'd him and told him.
I have no complaints. This has been all
I should probably get back to my son.
But so today's inspirational quote is, be a rainbow in someone else's cloud. You don't know the whole story of everyone else's around you's day. You only know a fraction of their life and how they feel. So go out of your way to make someone smile and be happy today. Be a light in the world. Thank you.
Beautiful quote.
Thank you again for coming on, Ian.
Yeah,
I look forward to reading your article first thing tomorrow morning.
This is gonna be awesome. I want you to deep dive into my life.
I look forward to all the quote tweets that you're going to be posting on the RMNB account tomorrow,
bro. Just like all like the, it's gonna be incredible.
Thank
But
you
all right,
again for
wait.
coming on. We appreciate
Unblocked.
Let's go.
Free.
I know you're free. You're welcome. By
He's
the way.
free.
All right, thank you guys all for watching. See you next week.
All right, see you guys.
See y'all.
See you, man. Okay, Noah also just texted me and said he heard everything and said he was
Good.
watching.